He was the only man in history who entered Auschwitz by choice, not as a victim, not as a soldier on duty, but as a spy on a mission so dangerous, even his own commanders thought it was suicide. His name was Witold Pilecki, and his story is one of the greatest acts of courage ever hidden from the world. It was 1940. Poland had fallen under Nazi control. The streets of Warsaw were filled with fear, families disappearing in the night, whispers of a new kind of camp where people went in and never came out. The place was called Auschwitz. No one knew exactly what was happening inside those barbed wire fences. Some said it was a prison, others said it was something worse, but nobody had proof. The Polish resistance needed someone to find out the truth, someone willing to go inside. And that's when Witold Pilecki stepped forward. A decorated officer, father of two, and loyal patriot, Pilecki had already fought against both the Germans and the Soviets. But when the resistance asked for a volunteer to enter Auschwitz, everyone went silent, everyone, except him. He calmly said, "I'll go." His plan was insane and brilliant. He would allow himself to be captured by the Germans during a random roundup. Using a fake identity, once inside the camp, he would build a secret resistance network, gather evidence of Nazi crimes, and somehow get the information out. In September 1940, he deliberately walked into a German raid on the streets of Warsaw. When they shouted for men to line up, he didn't run. He stepped forward minutes later. He was shoved into a train packed with prisoners. No one knew his true mission, not even the men standing next to him. The train doors slammed shut, darkness, screams, and then Auschwitz. The moment he stepped out, he realized he had entered hell on earth. Guards beat prisoners to death for sport. Dogs tore men apart. The smell of burning flesh drifted from the chimneys. And yet, Witold had to stay calm, because his mission had just begun. Inside the camp, he was registered under the false name Tomasz Surafisky, prisoner number 4859. He pretended to be just another terrified man. But behind his blank stare, he was already memorizing guard routines, prisoner numbers, and camp layouts. Slowly, he started recruiting others, men he could trust, farmers, priests, teachers, anyone with courage left in their eyes. Together, they formed what became known as the secret Polish army. In Auschwitz, they smuggled messages, food, and medicine. They shared hope when hope didn't exist. Using scraps of paper, coded notes, and hidden couriers, Pilecki sent the first reports from inside Auschwitz to the Polish resistance, and then to the Allies in London. Those messages described everything: starvation, torture, medical experiments, gas chambers. The world was hearing the first eyewitness accounts of the Holocaust, and they came from a man trapped inside it. At times, Pilecki's group even sabotaged the Germans, slowing down production, saving prisoners from death selections, and helping a few escape. But every day was a game of life and death. One wrong word, one misplaced glance, and the entire network could be wiped out. And yet, for almost 3 years, Pilecki survived. 3 years inside Auschwitz, by choice. 3 years surrounded by death, pretending to be one of the condemned. By 1943, he realized that his reports were being ignored. The Allies couldn't believe the scale of horror, so he decided to do the unthinkable again: escape. One April night, after years of planning, he and two fellow prisoners overpowered a guard, cut the power lines, and slipped through a hole in the fence. They ran for miles through the darkness, barefoot, bleeding, hunted by dogs and German patrols. After 2 nights, they reached freedom. He was weak, half-starved, but alive. When he made it back to Warsaw, the resistance could hardly believe it. The man who went into Auschwitz had returned. His reports became one of the first detailed eyewitness accounts of the Holocaust, describing the systematic murder of millions. But Witold's war wasn't over. When the Warsaw Uprising began in 1944, he fought again, leading men in street battles against the Nazis. After the war, when the Soviets took control of Poland, he refused to stay silent. He exposed the crimes of the new communist regime, and for that, he was arrested, tortured, and executed in 1948. The man who had survived Auschwitz was killed by his own country's new rulers. For decades, his name was erased from history. His reports were hidden, his heroism forgotten. Only after the fall of communism did the world rediscover his story and realize the scale of his sacrifice. Witold Pilecki didn't just fight against Hitler. He fought against fear itself. He chose to walk into a nightmare so that the truth could escape. And though he died in silence, his voice still echoes through history, whispering from the ashes of Auschwitz, I tried to live so that when I died, I would feel joy, not fear. He was a soldier, he was a spy, he was the man who volunteered for hell and came back.